Yes, people, welcome to LFC Red Forever channel. I don't know what's just happened there. I apologize. I apologize. Yes, today we're going to be doing ref watch. The decisions the referees are making in the Premier League at the moment is really, really bad. So we're going to be discussing that. We're going to move on, obviously, to the transfers. Liverpool are heavily linked with a couple of players that we're well aware of. One plays for Man City and the other one plays for Fluminense in Brazil. So let's talk about this. Let's bring the right hand man for the time being, which is Alid. Let's go. What's going on,
Yes, bro.
brother?
Yes, man. Fozzy, pleasure to be back on the channel, guys. Big up to everybody. Make sure you're smashing those likes. Get their comments in as well. Let's get engaged down in the comments. But Fozzy, man, it's a pleasure to be back on stream with you, man. Thanks for inviting me.
No worries, bro. No worries. Anytime, man. You're part of the channel now, innit? We've recruited Alid. Hopefully, we're all gonna grow together. That's the most important thing as a team in here. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most, brother.
Yes,
Yeah.
bro. 100%, man. We're all in this together, and looking forward to it.
So we're gonna do ref watch, mate. There's been a few decisions in the Premier League in the weekend. It's not just
Yeah,
Liverpool's game. We watched Arsenal's game the other day as well. It was
just do,
just
mate.
yeah. So let's talk about it, bro. Let's talk about this. So as we all know, Howard Webb is back in the helm of the referees. He's in charge. He's making the decisions. As if the referees are not bad enough as it is, Ali. Do you know what I mean? So now you're
Yeah.
bringing an even worse person into the equation as well. Let's talk about our game first. Then we move on to the Arsenal game the other day as well. Like I thought it was kind of horrendous the decisions they made against Arsenal as well. With that defender they got, is it Tomiyasu? Him?
Tomiyasu,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it was strange. It was strange, man. So let's get onto this guy basically. Um, John Aldrich has put in the echo. As you can see, I want Portini taken off Premier League duty this weekend after the Liverpool era. So Liverpool have appealed against the McAllister sending off. So Paul Tini was the VAR in charge of the game, and a lot of people are calling out for him not to referee in the weekend or take VAR position as well. So as the referees, brother, what do you think about our referees in this country? It doesn't look like we're improving, even when they get another person in charge. Dermot Gallagher even came on Sky Sports yesterday or the day before, I believe, and he said it wasn't a sending off that decision against Liverpool. So, what do you make out about these referees? I've said it yesterday as well. I don't think they're fit enough, bro. If you don't play the game and understand how the game works, even in a Sunday league level, then we've got a problem on the pitch, bro. You know what I mean? It's like they're picking up people who work in the office or people who work school teachers or something like that, and they're just putting them in the pitch and telling them to learn the game. But if you haven't played the game and you don't understand like what happens physically, mentally, everything in that, all around that in the games, how would you understand how it works? If you know what I mean, Alid?
No, man, it's definitely a question which needs answering, and it obviously divides opinion across the football kind of society pretty much. I think,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, I start to question if it's more of a systematic thing or
Mm-hmm.
is it a personnel point problem. But I think generally we see these issues, and what is the common denominator is that a lack of context and logic is applied to these situations, and that's why
Yeah.
you have certain instances where, as you just mentioned there, referees not understanding the pace of the game. I
Yeah.
mean, to highlight McAllister's red card as just a subtle example.
Mm-hmm.
The speed of the game, how McAllister's even meant to stop that pass without even enlarging himself is ridiculous, and to get him give a red card in that vein is just absolutely ridiculous. I think you'd have a stronger case, Paul Tierney, if McAllister was off the ground and out of control. But as
Yeah.
you can see, McAllister's foot is planted on the ground. He's well in control of the situation in my eyes, because he at the end of the day, when you kind of play the clip through, he pulls
Mm-hmm.
his leg away. It's not like he's going in rash and endangering the player completely. So, you know, I've seen far worse decisions, far worse tackles being made, which quantify a red card being given, and that was just way off the box. And it's just the consistency, mate. When we talk about the referees, we talk about the deficiencies in today's game. It just comes down to consistency. If the referees come down on one side and were more consistent and sustain that over a period of time, I'm sure, you know, there'd still be criticism, because no one, you know, football divides opinion. You know, if decisions go against us, we're going to moan about it. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
You know, these consistencies, as soon as you eradicate that, I think, you know, football can move in a progressive way when you talk about, you know, the referees. And that's just my take on it personally, bro.
I agree with you 100%, brother. Like, but do you see it in the other way as well? Like, if you look at Liverpool Football Club, do we get hard done by, like our fan base always say, like, compared to other teams for some reason? Is it political reasons? I don't know what it is. For some reason or another, if you look at Liverpool Football Club, even when we challenge for titles, if we go head to head or in any other way of that direction, we always get bad decisions. You look at Rodri a couple of seasons ago when he handled the ball inside the box, and he could blatantly see it's a handball. He put his hand, he moved towards it, and the referee didn't even go to the VAR to even view it. So we lost the league title because of things like that. And then you look at a couple of seasons before that, when I think we faced Leicester. It's a season we lost. The first season we lost by 1 point. I've always said that's the game we lost the league. That Leicester game, I think we drew 1-1 or something like that. Yeah, I think Maguire scored, and I think Mane scored. So. So if you look at the decisions, Maguire should have got sent off when he took out Mane. He was the last man, as I remember. When he was through on goal, didn't send him off. And then you look at the one with Naby Keita in the box when he got stepped on, and they didn't even give a decision for that. I think Martin Atkinson was in charge of that game. He's no longer a referee. I think he's part of the referee committee, but he's no longer. So is it always is there something against us, or is it just a mistake by the referees? How do you take it, bro?
Mate, it's not by coincidence that the lime share decisions that, you know, it constantly seems to be against us. I know we look at it from a blinkered point of view because we're obviously watching our club week in, week out, whereas, you know, we won't watch teams like Chelsea week in, week out to kind of build up a solid opinion when comparing the two. But at the same time, statistically, you know, we have received decisions that have gone against us in the short term and have subsequently resulted in larger ramifications, like us losing the league, as you previously alluded to there. So, look, mate, honestly, this Paul Tierney guy, you know, man, I don't know what his issue is. And, you know, Klopp seems to highlight this as well.
It does,
and I think Klopp's smart with it as well, because he tries to highlight it to try and put pressure on the league to kind of steer him away. But it's not by coincidence, mate. Every time he seems to officiate us, there always seems to be at least one or two controversial decisions against us. So, you know, mate, whether it's political reasons or not, I'm not, you know, best qualified to speak upon that. But at the end of the day, it does seem very suspect and very suspicious. So
because it's always, Aled, it's always the same referees, bro. It's never changed.
It's always
that's what I don't understand. Why does it have to be the same? And not only that, it's Manchester-based referees. You got Paul Tierney, you got Anthony Taylor. Why are they refereeing Liverpool games, bro? We know we're arch rivals. We know we don't like each other. So why are you putting a person who says he's a fan of, I don't know, some other team, but he's still based in Manchester? How do we know things like that? How do we know their past? Did I mean all that stuff? It's crazy. What do you think of that? Like Manchester-based referees always refereeing Liverpool games.
Oh mate, it's nuts. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes when big games and you see them, and then, like, I swear we've had Paul Tierney last Liverpool Tottenham games, and we're like, all right, okay. And every time the referees come through, I'm always looking for the big games in particular. I'm thinking, geez, we're up against it now because it's him. And as fans, we shouldn't feel the need to feel like that. But, you know, it's not by coincidence that you have the same cluster of referees consistently. Yeah. That's the only thing they're doing consistent for.
That's true. That is true.
It's mental, mate, honestly, because it's just so frustrating. And it's just like we're always at an uphill battle against these guys. And, you know, I don't know what needs to be done, whether it's a change in protocol to ensure that, you know, it's devised slightly better where, you know, maybe not Manchester-based referees are refereeing Liverpool games.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just stupid, really, when you put it into perspective. Like,
It's kind of weird, bro. It's kind of weird, you know what I mean? Manchester-based
yeah,
referees Liverpool games. It doesn't even come together. I remember when I was growing up, they wasn't allowed to referee Liverpool games. All of a sudden, they could do Manchester versus Liverpool games. Like,
yeah,
I'm baffled, man. And then you see the games, and it's the most dodgiest decisions you could ever make
yeah.
in a
It's
game as well.
always so
It's so
skeptical.
blatant. But how much more can we take of this? Like, don't you think the club has to stand up for itself? You know what I mean? And bring evidence forward. This doesn't look right. You know what I mean? If you got the footage evidence in front of the FA, in front of the Premier League and all that, and show them this is like continuously happening again and again and again. What are you guys gonna do about it? Because
Mate,
it's not benefiting us. We're losing league titles, bro. We're losing cups. We're losing everything because of their silly decisions, incompetent decisions, and it's happening on a regular basis, bro. And like you said, it never improves. Season in, season out, we're coming back to the same thing. It's like we've been here before, and we're talking about the same thing we
oh,
talked
mate,
about
honestly,
last
yeah.
season.
It's all I was saying. It's so draining on times, actually, because when you look at it, and it's not even like this is anything new to us. This has been a frequent sort of thing where it's happened
Yeah.
season in, season out, and it's kind of highlighted more so on the seasons where we're closer to league titles, and we've lost out, and it just proves that these decisions, how marginal they are within games, how the ripple effect and the long-term ramifications upon this is substantial. And don't get me wrong, some decisions, sometimes we can get it wrong as fans. However, it's not by coincidence that there's certain, a cluster of these. You could literally, Liverpool have a license, like you said, to put something forward, and we have a license. We have so many instances where we can build up a portfolio of where we've been hard done by, and that's where it gets suspect and slightly confusing, really.
Do you agree with John Aldridge here? Like, he should not be refereeing over the weekend. Like, he should be suspended from that. You know what I mean? Him and his crew, Paul Tierney. John Aldridge just requested for that under Echo.
If they overturn the McAllister red card and that's successful, I feel most definitely, because at the end of the day, it's a refereeing mistake, and obviously you've got to allow for mistakes in the game, because at the end of the day they're learning on the job as much as we are. But at the same time, these have large ramifications, and you kind of have to consider putting him into retraining or put some sort of measure in place. Maybe not suspend him, but put him in retraining, because there's some certain little things which, once modified, can help improve and better the game as we know it. And that 100%. Is where the refereeing has that deficiency at the moment.
100%, bro. You could see on that footage of it. There was the Arsenal game yesterday. Like, I didn't understand it, bro. Like, if this is the like minimal contact is the way to send people off right now, I'm worried about football, Alex. I'm really, really worried about football. He got a second yellow card for that. I don't think it was a second yellow card. It could have been like said, brush it aside kind of thing. He didn't. The way they were talking about it, he pulled him back, but it didn't. He just leant on him, and it just fell to the floor. So it's just like I said, it's not consistency. On another day, Arsenal could have lost that 3 points, and at the end of the season, Man City could have a point extra, if you know what I mean, and win the league. And it's not fair. Like we discussed it. Go on,
mate, honestly, bro, these players, they're streetwise. They know exactly what they're doing as well. You seen that Nketiah one yesterday with Sam Johnston. What he does is, these players are so clever now, and they know what kind of bends the rules to win. They're so deviant in their own way, because you seen Nketiah slow up, and as he slows up, he kind of moves into the contact man. He invites that contact, and it's the exact same thing with Ayew there. He knows that Tomiyasu is on his back. And all he has to do is go down, and he knows it puts pressure on the referees.
But don't you think the referees, like, I know sometimes you can't override referees, like what they override referees what they do. Why don't they go to the VAR and see it for themselves? Like, something's not right. Like,
that's where it's
confusing them. You know what I mean? Because the referee, I can't believe he was in a good side of this footage. He might have been behind one of them, and couldn't see what exactly happened. But in the other hand, they think like the guy pulled, thinking Tomiyasu pulled Ayu. I don't think he pulled him. He just landed on him and he fell over. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well,
That's why.
yeah.
What's the actual point of a VAR if you're not going to actually use it? I don't understand.
They
It's
invest
just
so much money into this,
exactly.
and then when it's there to use, utilize it to eradicate any football mistakes. And refereeing mistakes, and you know, we see these instances, and yes, referees should be ruthless, but they should also have the same level of accountability to identify if they're wrong or not, and that's where
Exactly.
VAR can be determine if they're wrong or not, and that's where, you know, if it's used correctly and used appropriately, then, you know, it can be a good tool to solve these problems. But
Yeah.
when we see, you know, instances where a penalty can be given by the referee and the VAR aren't allowed to intervene, I just don't understand that. I don't understand that. So, because what is the point? If the
Exactly.
so you, do you know what I mean? It's just like, well, surely so the referee's made 100%. He's not made a mistake there. How can you even quantify that unless you check it on the monitor? Like, I just don't understand.
It's a weird one, bro. It's a strange one. So let me just go to comments. Lewis says, "Have a great stream, lad. You're killing it. Thank you, man. Thank you, thank you.
Big up, Lewis.
It's all of us doing it together, man." BH says, "Hello, big up, big up."
Big up.
The Corey Liverpool or Gravenberch? Which one do you prefer?
Oof, I think, is the Corey a 6 or is he a box to box?
The Corey is a 6, bro. He's a 6, and he can play box to box, but he's mainly a 6.
Because people were saying, "Oh, put Gravenberch in the 6," and I swear he's a box to box. So I think
the reason they're saying put Gravenberch in a 6 is because, you know, Klopp can do that, innit? Klopp can change players into positions. Yeah. Because if you look at Gravenberch's physique, his technical ability, his finesse, he can play a 6 if you actually train him to play as a 6. So like we did with Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum, when he came to Liverpool, he's a goal scoring midfielder. Before that, he was a number 10 for PSV and Feyenoord. You know what I mean? So we took him back slightly, and then he played as a number 6 sometimes, and he was fantastic when we had to rest Fabinho. Hence why we won a lot of titles when Wijnaldum was playing in that deep role as well. And the best thing about him was his availability, which we're missing at the moment as well. But yeah, Gravenberch, he can be actually put into the number 6 position eventually, 100%. Yeah. I believe in Klopp. I think Klopp could do that. Look at Gundogan as well. Gundogan, when he was at Dortmund, he was a number 6. When he's at Man City, he was a number 8. So you know, it's all about the intelligence of the players at the end of the day, and knowing our manager, he could put players whatever he wants. That's why he buys these type of players that who could, you know, he could put different positions, you know, swap positions and all that stuff. If you look at our front four, it's all different kind of front fours, but they could come deep and play midfield as well. So you know what I mean, it's how you utilize those players. If you know what I mean, Alice. So I believe in Gravenberch playing in that position as well. 36 people watching. Please hit that subscription button, notification button, and like button, and please subscribe to Ali's channel as well. Ali's gonna be doing this eventually with Harley. We're already having a meeting soon. You know what I mean, with the crew, and I can't wait when you see them two like doing their own streams as well. So, which one would you take out the two? He's asking you.
Gravenberch probably. I know a lot of people will say, like, look, he's built up credibility, you know, in Munich as well. But now for me, I would take him, despite the fact I feel we need a 6. If Klopp can get the best out of him, which obviously is that we can trust Klopp in that regard to you know, get the best out of these players. I think obviously at the moment we're light on the ground in regards to that controller and that dictator. And if Gravenberch can be that man, if he can be that defensive line midfielder, can, you know, interlink in regards to, you know, just eradicate that vulnerabilities or dimmer it down, then I think, you know, he's probably the better solution. I still think we need more than one, just because of how many outgoings we've got. Like, no, don't get me wrong, you know, there's some players that needed to be moved on there, but, you know, we're getting rid of bodies, and we need options. And you know, when we lack them options, you know, we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot, and we're, you know, it comes down to the thing, Vozzy. The best seasons we've had, we've always had depth in abundance. So when we have that depth, we can excel, and do you know what? It'll just breed confidence. It will reassure the fan base. It'll also maintain the harmony within the dressing room, because as far as we know, that they're good in the dressing room. You know, Gakpo. A few players have said, Gakpo, Trent, and it's good to hear them say, you know, we can challenge for league titles. that reassures me as a fan to know that, their harmony's good. But, we've seen this before, and we know that we need depth to compete, and we know we need options. So that's where I'd have two: Decore and Gravenberch preferably. But if I had to choose one, Gravenberch probably.
GG saying I would prefer Andre and Thuram. Yeah, they're good, but Thuram needs a lot of work. And would you say wait for him that long, like we'll do with Harvey Elliott? That's what I'm saying. Like, he's got a raw way of playing Thuram at the moment. I mean, and he needs a lot of improvements. You know what I mean? We already got Darwin Núñez we have to improve. Can we get another player on top of that to improve as well? It's going to take us ages, man. Cedric says, big up Fozzie. And
big up Cedric.
Obviously, Alid as well.
Do you know what, Fozzie? I just think we need the main deal right now. We at the end of the day, it's important where, it's a long-term process, and Klopp can get the best out of a certain player over a longer period of time. But I feel in order to put a stamp we need the main deal right now. And then when we have, providing we obviously get that player and we put ourselves back on the map, then we start to lay down the foundations for a longer period of time. That's the way I would go about it. But at the end of the day, I just think this club needs a little bit of a injection. And I think when we get that injection, then, we'll be up and running.
A statement is needed, as Alid says. Big up John Conway. He supports all of us, as we know, Alid, for a long time, innit? A long time, man.
John's the GOAT, man.
I'm telling you, the greatest ever, mate. People need to catch up with John. John is the best. Big up Fozzie and Alid. Thank you, brother. John, I'll put messages up today. I'm up for that, just to prolong the time with you guys. Trudon, of course, as well. He's always helping out in every channel. Grow together, pause. Yeah. We know. This pause business, like, I'm 44, guys. Yeah, I'm 44. I don't need this stuff, man. Don't put words I don't know. You know what I mean? My time is gone. You know what I mean? I've got different way to think now. I listen to classics. I don't listen to Tupac anymore. You know what I'm saying? So. That's it. That's gone out the window. Redbird, yes, man. Hi.
Yes, Redbird.
Another legend on the scene. So we're gonna move to the next thing. Obviously, I said 45 minutes. Maybe it depends on the time. It depends what people ask questions on the actual messages as well. We're gonna have a membership very, very soon when we get the meeting going, and you're gonna. Please join the membership eventually, man, because the channel is monetized now. So we've got Alid, we've got me, we've got Harley, we've got Nura Beats, we've got 12 Man, we've got so many people backstage, Raphael, Mario, Anton, you know what I mean? The list goes on. We've got so many people in this group, and we're trying to make the best channel for you guys. So please support us in that as well. So I'm going to go to the next one, which is, let me see what it was. Transfers. Yeah, transfers. Yeah, transfers. Yeah, so we've been linked with these. Well, one of the we'll do it one by one. We don't do both in it. We've been linked with this player from Manchester City. What do you think of him, bro? Like, as a player, I know he could play that DM role as well as the 8 role, and I've seen him for England play with Declan Rice, and they complement each other in a brilliant way. Since they haven't been together, I don't think England have been the same. What do you think of him as a player, bro? Like, have you watched him thoroughly? Do you understand him as a player, or haven't you watched him at all?
I've watched him from time to time, and from when I've seen him, I've been very impressed. I think what he can offer is something that I think would be almost valuable. He's got that credibility. You can tell he's a big character as well. He's not shy to kind of take center stage, and I kind of like that. But he's also got that humble sort of characteristic to his game as well, off the field. And I think Klopp would promisingly value that. However, despite that, I just think the chances of City doing business with Liverpool, obviously they'll kind of highlight the Arsenal situation, really. I think that was a grave mistake, and they'll kind of learn from that, not to do any business with their rivals. So the realistic possibility of this happening, I think, compared to how much compared to how I would like this to happen, are two different things. So I think he'd be a good option. I think a lot of people, isn't it a loan deal they're rumoring as well, Fozzie?
Yeah, yeah. It's just basically he doesn't play a lot of games, does he? For
Nah, he's not got game
Man City,
time.
and they got another. Was it Daku or someone coming in as well?
Yeah,
To play
someone
in that
like that.
midfield from Belgium. So they got a lot of players already in the team,
And mate,
and he's always the odd one out at the lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you're
So
Kalvin Phillips as well, and you're seeing that incoming, and you're thinking, well, where am I going to get my next game? He's
I
surely
like him.
got.
I like him. I like him. I
He should,
really
yeah,
like him.
exactly. I like him too, and surely he's got itchy feet to think. I want to get out and play. I want to build my match sharpness, because at the end of the day, the time is ticking, and the more times he's sitting on the bench, he's not really going to get the best out of his career, and he's at a period right now where he's building. He's getting building his reputation, sort of thing. So he kind of needs that move, and whether that kind of impacts the next few weeks, well, we'll just have to wait and see.
It's like you said, Ali, like you don't sell to your rivals, isn't it? I remember Fergie, like we tried to buy Gabriel Heinzer, as I remember, from them. I think like we haven't bought from each other for over 60, 70 years, you know what I mean? So it's a long time, Man United and Liverpool buying from each other, you know what I mean? We've had players go to other teams and then join us, like Paul Ince, Peter Beardsley, and players like that. But we never had direct rivalry thing. But Man City, I don't consider Man City as rivals like Man United, if you know what I mean. They're different to Man United. Yeah, there's 44 people watching. Please hit that subscription button, notification button, and like button. So as I can see, Phillips, he can move around that place. So he could play here. You know what I mean? And he could play, on the left-hand side. From what I've seen him for Leeds United, that's the most I've watched him, because I liked him at Leeds United. What I like about him as well, he's very, very, for an English player, he's very, very comfortable on the ball. It's like he's been taught by the likes of like Pep Guardiola or someone like that already from way back, if you know what I mean. That's how I see when I watch him, and I like him. But I can't see it happening because it's Man City, innit? It's Man City and Liverpool. I don't think your rivals will strengthen you if they take you seriously. And Pep Guardiola always alerts to Liverpool is still his biggest rivals. You know what I mean? Even though Arsenal is coming up, but he sold players to Arsenal, hasn't he? So, I mean, he doesn't want to strengthen us even further, if you know what I mean. Yeah, but listen, I like Kalvin Phillips. I think he chose the wrong career move. He would have been more beneficial for Liverpool Football Club rather than actually Man City. And he's always injured. That's the problem with him at the moment. He's 27 now. Like, you know what I mean? When he left, I think he was about 25, 26. Now he's 27 years old. So he's aging as he goes along. He needs to like start playing on a regular basis, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so I like him. I gotta be real. I like him.
Me too, yeah.
Let's get to the comments. Start reading them out while I look for something, mate. Where are we in the comments? I think it's just there. Go for Justin, yeah.
Yeah, Justin, what annoys me is the club doesn't mention this vendetta publicly and demanding why they are being given these officials. 100%, mate. I think they're too... Sometimes, the club doesn't really... It's like the club almost expects it to this point, and they don't really want to highlight it anymore, because it maybe... whenever they highlight it, it doesn't get them any far. It's still what it shouldn't subtract from the situation is that we're still in a position where we're getting unfairly treated. Really, when we compare ourselves. So that's where we've got to really consider putting up a bit more of a fight, and that starts from the top, and that will come down, ripple down to the bottom.
Yeah, that's true, 100%. Obviously, I saw this in Talk Sports about 13 hours ago. It said LFC are considering a move for midfielder Kalvin Phillips. Phillips had a plan to stay and fight for his place, but Liverpool could test the players' resolve. So how do you say that? Resolve after adding him to their shortlist. We'll have to wait and see. It depends on Liverpool and Man City. If they agree a fee, then let's all like support him. But if they don't, there's always other players we could look at. If you know what I mean, people. And I can't see it happen. I can't see it happen. I can't see it happen. Yeah. So we move on to the next one, which is this guy. As you know, he's a Brazilian international. Apparently he's the one who's taken Fabinho's place in Brazil squad. He's already got his first cap. He's a very busy midfielder. I like him. I don't know if you spotted anything about him, but he's one of those kind of players that can play as a number 6 and number 8 as well. but he's more comfortable with the ball and he can dribble with the ball at the same time as well. So he's a very, very busy player in that midfield. We're looking for a player that could cover that whole area in the centre bit. He's the one I think that can do that as well. And I've heard Chelsea was looking at him when we was looking at him at the same time as well. So if we don't grab this transfer,
PTSD, PTSD.
I'm telling you, mate. If we don't grab him as soon as possible, Chelsea might come in and take him as well. They're so dumb. They're so dumb team. I'm telling you, Chelsea are just dumb. I can't even defend them anymore, man. I'm local to London and I know about Chelsea. You know what I mean? I remember Chelsea used to have a car park behind the goal back in the day when Kenny Dalglish scored that winner for us to win the league. You know what I mean? They had ambulances there back in the day. They're just dumb club, man. They just buy for the sake of buying. There's no actual structure in place. There's no actually formation in place for these players to even fit in. It's crazy, man. It's just crazy. Now they're trying to bully Liverpool into transfer. Well, keep buying. Once the Premier League gets hold of you, you might be in trouble at the end of it anyway. You know what I mean? So yeah. So what do you think of him, bro? Like, we've been chasing him for a while, this André kid from Fluminense in Brazil.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I haven't seen him much, but from what I've heard of him, and we can obviously trust. Hopefully, we can trust that scouting process if we are to recruit him. I think obviously I've heard that like you said, he's not afraid to take the ball forward, and I think that's kind of the type of profile player that Liverpool are going for more, and that's kind of re-established with the the introduction of Cody Gakpo. He can take that ball forward as well. Andre's not afraid to take the ball forward from what we know. And in regards to a player that covers the distance, he's got that in abundance as well. If you just look at his running stats as well, he covers a large portion of distance. I know stats don't dictate everything, but we need our workhorse. We need our workhorse midfield, because when we were functioning at our peak and at our pinnacle, we had a workhorse midfield, and that's what we kind of need to go back towards. And it's not really. I think Liverpool, looking back, we should have gone from an approach to add to Plan A as opposed to change to Plan B. I think Plan A was functioning, it worked. Yes, it needs adapting over time because teams will find you out. But we need that workhorse midfield again. We do need that workhorse midfield. And once we try and, re-establish those foundations, which we know have already been set, then, I think, he coincides with that, I think, quite well. So I think that's why we should pursue.
100%. Dave OC Cop says Liverpool reportedly made a verbal indication to Fluminense that they would pay 30 million euros for André. Brazilian outlet G Global report that Fluminense will not sell him now as they are set to face the Paraguayan side Olympia in the quarterfinals of the Copa Libertadores. We'll have to wait and see then, innit? We don't have to rush it, but from what I've heard recently, he comes back again saying, Dave, Liverpool have reportedly already agreed personal terms with André. If they have,
it comes down
that's
to
brilliant.
Yeah.
And the Anfield Watch is saying the same thing. André has personal terms agreed with Liverpool. The player has told Fluminense that he wants to move to the club. So he wants to come to the Premier League. Like sometimes with the Brazilian players, they normally go different directions before they come to the Premier League. You know what I mean? When they come straight to the Premier League, they struggle, as far as I'm aware. When Lucas Leiva came to Liverpool, he wasn't the same player that we bought. He looked different. I mean, he was like an attacking midfielder, scoring from deep and all that stuff. Came to Liverpool, became a DM. Like, he wasn't the same player anymore, and he was pretty slow. But from what I'm trying to say is, Brazilians normally they go to Italy, Spain before they come to the Premier League to learn their trade, or Portugal, and then they come straight to the Premier League after, because they are physically ready, mentally ready to compete in the Premier League. Because the Premier League is a demanding league, as you know, Aled. It's not an easy league to play.
100%,
it's fast paced, and physical, and you have to be on your game, like game in and game out. But yeah, do you agree with that? They should be going different place, or are you happy if they come straight to the Premier League now? Because football's changed, obviously, since then.
Yeah, of course. I mean, each player is different, but at the same time, we can kind of look at track records. And it's notable that the Premier League is a completely different league to the Brazilian league. So it's inevitable that it'll take time for him to adapt, regardless whatever league he goes to. I just have faith and confidence in the process that providing he comes to the club. Klopp will nurture him, integrate him in the right way, and we can get the best out of him that way. Whether that'll take time, I don't know. A lot of fans will demand that success imminently, and that's the pressure he'll have. But what he should take encouragement from is that it's a project where there is a lot of players. There's more players now being added to it, like McAllister, Szoboszlai, Endo as well. He'll be.
I love Szoboszlai, McAllister, bro. I really love them, man. I think they're
exactly. So knowing that he'll be on that project with them could help him integrate. Help his development a lot quicker than if providing he was just to come on his own.
What I like about him, like he's that kind of player that can drive with the ball from. If you look at this, like he goes with the ball. Like he could go through midfield and go attack as well, and he's got a great shot on him as well. Brazilians, they love their technical ability shooting from outside the box, and he could do that with abundance as well. So I like him. He could shoot from there and get it obviously in the goal. As well as that, he can from here. He can create passes like through balls from here, like to the strikers and things like that for them to run on and all that stuff. But what I like about him, he's a ball carrier, bro. He's a ball carrier from the back. Similar to what's his name, Kante from Chelsea. He could do that, but he's got more ability because Brazilians, their technical ability is the first thing that comes to their mind. They play futsal. You know what I mean? So it's like a five-a-side thing, but indoor and all that stuff. So he can do things like that, and I like him. And not only that, he can play. Obviously in that deep role from what I saw, but he can play here as well. So he could play as a number 8. So he could play in either side and a plus here. So if we need him to push forward at some games, he'll push forward and play that role as well. So,
that versatility is important, mate. And do you know what is notable as well? Is that Andre, you have a look at that team, you've got Andre then, he's a good connector, he's a good link-up player. You've then got Cody Gakpo, good connector and link-up player. And that's no disrespect to Jota, but for me, Gakpo's a better link-up player. He links up the two. I feel like, he accommodates more players than Jota. Jota's more direct. Gakpo, can accommodate more. So I think having those connectors will only help us in transition, and it'll only provide that cohesive sort of style, which will just, help those passing combinations that we've seen over the past few weeks as well. You know what I mean? It kind of goes hand in hand. So that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, so let's get to the comments. There's Nurabits, they say, big up lads, big up Nurabits. GG says the FA should launch an investigation, the decisions making of this referees when it comes to certain games, especially Liverpool games. Bro, we've been trying for ages. Like, this is not the first time, GG. Like, this is a regular occurrence for Liverpool Football Club. We lost titles because of these referees and their decisions. So, I'm sure behind the scenes they have been trying, but I don't know. I really don't know what more we can do. Sometimes, like I said, like I know Alex can't say it, political reasons. Sometimes that could be a lot of things. And Liverpool is not the favorite city of obviously the London side. So when the big people are behind it, it's difficult. It's very, very, very difficult, man. But yeah, Justin says last season Tierney was in charge in 22% of our games. Stunning, given that no other referee was allocated similar amount of games for any other team in Europe. Bro. There you go. You go, bro. Look at that.
And that, stats, you can't change the stats. If that's there, bro. That you have to kind of put that forward because I guarantee you this. No other referee's been allocated that many games as much as Tierney's been given Liverpool games, and it's not by coincidence that Tierney is a referee that constantly, it's inevitable that there'll be 2 or 3 decisions. You know what I mean? That we don't agree with, 100%. And they're big decisions as well. They're not just small ones; they're big ones, and we've seen that time and time again.
Well, there's 49 people, 50 people watching. Please hit that subscription button, notification button, like button, all that good stuff. Nice top Fuzzy. Yeah, the black one. I had to get that New Balance back in the day, innit? The best, man. I miss New Balance. I can't do it with Nike, man. We don't win with Nike. We only won the FA Cup and League Cup with Nike. Stefano says, big up boys, let's go. Let's get a player this week. Yeah, so I'm gonna end it with this, brother. Say we don't make any more signings. We're just stuck with the players we got. What do you think about our ownership and in regards to the management as well? Because it doesn't strike me as serious like thinking club like they want to compete for a title. As much as I love our manager and for what FSG have done for us in the past, like, is it time to part ways if we don't sign players? Because I told people before this transfer, like when the Caicedo went away and Lavia won, I said we might just sign Endo and that is it. And people say, nah, 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 it's gonna be more signings. Well, it's looking that way now. It might not be another signing. From what I've heard, James Pearce said there ain't gonna be another DM coming in. What do you think of that, bro?
Yeah, man, it's worrying because we see that lack of intent. It completely disregards that ruthlessness that was previously associated with us. We've got those blind loyalties, and that's where Klopp has to take an element of blame.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good to have faith in your players, but at the same time, you have to know when to, pull the pin on certain situations to, provide that long-term stability. And that's where we've kind of shot ourselves in the foot because we've kind of, sacrificed that potential of building a long-term.
Especially after that winning the title and then like going
Yeah,
next
mate.
season.
Honestly,
You know what I mean?
that's where you put a statement in, and that's where we know now to put a statement in to kind of just keep like City won the treble and they're going to get Gvardiol. Do you know what I mean? It's just certain things like that. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just like I want to see statement. I want to see a statement signing, and yeah, Man City can't always compare ourselves to them.
No, we can't.
They have a different financial model to us, but I'm talking about intent and like desire.
Like what
go
Arsenal did this season. Like what Arsenal did this season,
Yeah,
basically.
stuff
Oof.
like that. Stuff like that. That's powerful stuff. And guess what? What that does is that keeps the dressing room hungry. That's what that does. That it has a calamity of things, and it goes hand in hand because you see Arsenal falling short in the league. It's very easy to use this season as them to feel sorry for themselves. They went and got Declan Rice. Their midfield goes, oh, we need to up our game here because he's coming in. He's got a big price tag on him. We got to up our game. So they've got that. And then look how they were last night, bro. Look how they were when they defended that Crystal Palace game out. They're hungry, bro. They're hungry. And
they're ready, man. They're ready.
They're ready. And I guarantee you that decision made upstairs not as solely has a large impact, but it definitely has an impact.
Do you think like we swapped, like Arsenal and Liverpool swapped? If you look at Arsenal, what they started with is their backroom stuff. They sorted that out. They got people they can trust, people that plays for the club, like Edu, players, people like that. They got the manager who plays for them as well. Like the core people in the club is people that know Arsenal. They know inside out. That what we used to have with Michael Edwards, with Peter Moore, and all these guys. You know what I mean? There's people that actually supported the club. Do you think we have to go back to that in order for us to get back up there again? Because if you look at Arsenal, it's like we switched. They became Liverpool and we became Arsenal. And do you think like we need to go back to that, back to where we was before, in order for us to like build this club again as we was successful before?
Yeah, 100%, mate. It comes down to what I was saying before: long-term stability, laying down those foundations. That's what Arsenal seem to do. And you know what? They've had trust in that process, and trust is a huge thing as well. And
but it's good to have some people that plays for the club, right, at the back.
Exactly, and that's going to have a valuable impact on a number of things that will be integral in their pursuit to win that title. So. They've kind of looked at it from a very good approach, and they've looked at it from an approach that is effective.
Yes. Trudon, please, people, put the comments through. I'll give you 10 minutes. Let's give them 10 minutes. There's 58 people watching. Please hit that subscription button, notification button, like button. It doesn't cost a thing, does it, Alid? It doesn't cost a thing.
No, guys, keep it going.
And we've got another show coming up tonight as well, so please, tune into that. 9 o'clock shows are back. I wanted Phillips before he went to City. He's more of a Klopp player than Pep Guardiola. He was a beast at Leeds. Yeah, 100% true, Don. Like we discussed it earlier. what I like about him is his finesse. He's not like a typical English player. I don't want to destroy English. Come on, from him myself. He's more of a continental player, if you know what I mean. He's calm on the ball. He passes the right passes. He doesn't rush things. You know what I mean? That's what we need to we need in that midfield. Players that don't rush passes and put us in danger, and then the defense have to defend. We don't want that stuff. We want players that can keep the ball, pass the right passes, and we could like build up from there and get the goals after that. So yeah, this is Michael says, I don't want us to go for Phillips. There is better than him out there, in my opinion. Yes, I agree. There's loads of players out there, but if the manager wants him, who are we to argue, sir? Who are we to argue? Read this one, Alid.
Don't want Phillips. He spent last season sitting on the bench and he's around 26 years old. If we were going for a CDM, we should be going for Decore. Yeah, he's got a point there. He's got a point because if you want to get a player who's you're expected to deliver, especially on a loan deal as well, you kind of want to get that player who's got that sort of, he's already got that momentum. It feels like Kalvin Phillips, we're kind of relying on him to get going from scratch. And that's where I think Josh is alluding to there. So, for sure, I think Decore, when you compare the two, that's where Decore has the upper hand there. But yeah, it's about looking at the long term, but also keeping an eye on what player would provide that injection.
But if you look at, although Kalvin Phillips is 26 years old, our average age has gone down to 24. If you know what I mean. So wouldn't it be good to have a slightly experienced player? He's not very old, but 26 is fine in my opinion. We've got too many 24-year-olds and underneath that, 23, 22, 21 and 19. So 20 and 19. But if we have 26-year-olds and 28-year-olds, around the squad, wouldn't that make us even better? Because the experience is there, if you know what I mean, Alid.
Yeah, of course. That can only positively affect the background because they know. And don't get me wrong, Phillips is a player who's seen a few dark days. Let's put it that way. In his football career, not that he's played a lot of them, but he's seen those days, and that can really positively affect how we go about things. Big up to Lays as well. I can see him in the comments. Big up yourself, bro.
Yeah, he says, big up Fozzy, big up Alid, Mr. Cop Talk TV. Philip says, we must give Andre time to adapt, provided we sign him. It looks like we're going to sign him and not single him out for criticism like Nunes immediately, even though we paid too much for Nunes. It's not Nunes' fault. Let's just be honest here. Nunes is only a player. The clubs negotiated this deal. But like Klopp said, Nunes reminds him of Lewandowski. When Lewandowski came on the scene, it took him time to develop as a player, and I could see that rawness in Nunes as well. But the best thing about Nunes, the most difficult part, is putting the ball back in the net, and he could do that easily. He could put the ball back in the net as well. So that's the most difficult part in the game, and he has that in abundance. The things he struggles with is the basics of the game, which is controlling the ball, passing the right passes. The ball bounces off him. Once he can sort that out in training, as you play football, you could sort that out in training in no time, especially with the right coaches, the top quality coaches that we got. Do you still believe in him? Do you think he'll get better?
Oh yeah, it's a process thing with him. And I think it has to come down to trust in the player as well. He's had an underwhelming season, but anyone can have an underwhelming season when you come in and you compare instantaneously to Erling Haaland. Do you know what I mean? So I feel we should kind of reevaluate our expectations for Nunes. Yes, of course, a lot of people say, no, we're dropping our expectations and we need to keep them at a high level. But let's be fair to him now. Let's give him the time to settle, and at the end of the point, we have to get to a point with Nunes, and we have to demand from him. But we have to, to the same token, we have to give him time to get to that point where we're demanding from him. We can't just demand from him straight away. Haaland's a freak. And that's where Nunes, obviously, he's got deficiencies to his game, his touch, finding the right channels on times, certain things. But we've seen on times as well, when he's got his confidence, he's a very good player, and we can get the best out of him when he's on form. But it's just being patient.
Laser says, I don't want to see Phillips as a DM Liverpool. He's not good enough. we have to wait and see it. Justin says Alisson, Tafarel, Pogluka should chat to Andre and get him here. He is a proper box-to-box midfielder. Yeah, like I said, he could play multiple positions, which we're missing at the moment in that midfield. And we need a player like Wijnaldum that's consistently fit. If you know what I mean, guys. We're getting too many injury-prone players in that team, and we'll try to get rid of as well. Okay, let me see because we only do the comments now, so we're near the end. This one, bro, just read this one while I do this.
Klopp not bringing a proper DM and relying on Endo means we finish 8th or 9th. This would be criminal negligence by the club, and this is what gets managers sacked. Yeah, I mean, the reports that are being put out, to say that, Klopp is content. Is that what I read the other day? Klopp is content.
Yeah, he's content, yeah.
Mate, I just don't agree with that at all. And I cannot... I sometimes try to see through the tweets sometimes and think, is this a transfer tactic to trying to dimmer it down so it kind of, and we come out of nowhere all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But providing we get to the end of the window what's happened, Justin, is we haven't got that DM as you've mentioned there.
Yeah.
Then that's graveyard mistake territory. When you consider last season, we were in we were looking for that midfielder. There was a midfield crisis going on. We've let go 6 bodies in. We've brought 3 in.
Yeah.
But it's backwards. It doesn't make any sense. And I'm not saying quantity over quality and all that sort of stuff. Yes, you need quality, of course. Yeah. But you need to make up the numbers. You need to make, as soon as you start relying on players, we've seen what it's like, and we've been disappointed far too many times with players' availability. So we cannot go off that. We have to have the bodies there, and that 100%. Is just we need it.
There's about 62 people watching. Please hit that subscription button, notification button, and like button. Please subscribe to all of our other channels as well. There's Klopp Talk TV, Uncle Rods. There's so many of the guys who come on here. Please go and subscribe to them as well. Laser says he will not manage the Klopp way of playing. He's talking about obviously Kalvin Phillips. You're right, man. I'm not here to disagree with that. Let's check out some more comments. JK says press the like button. We need another DM.
Loads of likes now.
We need loads. There we go. Bojan Reds TV says a big up. Okay, JK. Yes, Bojan, big up, bro. Please go subscribe to him, man. His channel is a brilliant, man. I watch it at night when I'm on night shift at work. They're brilliant. They're brilliant at what they do. So go and please subscribe to him as well. Read this one, please, brother. What's his name?
Go get Andre now and bed him in, says Mr. Sky Blue. Is a 40 million euro release clause. Just get your man. If Liverpool want their man, go and get the man. They've got the financial resources. Otherwise, we wouldn't have put 115 million pounds into Casado. You put your money where your mouth is. You get who you want.
Yeah.
And then that reinstalls the harmony. Bosh. We're on it.
Bergeron Red TV says, question for the lads. What are the chances the red is rescinded? A big possibility. I mean, it has to be, because if you look at the actual challenge, bro, like Ali alerted to in the beginning of the stream, it wasn't forced. It was like this, like a little touch. That was it. And then he got sent off for it. The worst part of in that situation, I know you can't overturn referees in the modern day, but he didn't go back. He didn't go and look at the VAR. Someone didn't advise him. This could be wrong. We might have made a mistake here. You might have to go and look at the VAR. That's the worst thing that referee's done. I think it's a new referee as well. I've never seen that referee in my life. So, yeah, listen, we've got a strong possibility. And it'll be good because we've got a tough game against Newcastle in our next game. And we need him for that. We need him for that 100%, man. Big up, Brian, man. Big up, Brian. Hang on, he needs to start playing football. Can't score, sat on the bench. This is Darwin Núñez. What do you think of that, brother?
Yeah, 100%, mate. He's on the bench far too often. At the start of the season, anyway. It's a tricky one with him.
What do you think of that? I never asked you that. Like, what do you think of him as a player? Do you like him as a player? Do you think he can improve, or is it with him? Like his ceiling has already been reached?
I was a bit, skeptical about it initially. I was a bit like, I don't. I was a bit mixed about it, to be honest. It was kind of an unknown quantity. From seeing him when we played against him in the Champions League the season before, I was kind of looking at him. He's a decent option. Especially when he was at Anfield and he was kind of toying with our back line. And I thought, he's a decent option. Do you know what I mean? We got him, and my kind of opinions of him haven't wavered or anything. But they've kind of definitely altered slightly because of, I don't know if that's because he's been compared to Erling Haaland, and that's instantly, the perception of success when you compare yourself to Erling Haaland. Any number less than Erling Haaland that Darwin's got is instantly a failure. When we know is not that true. What we need to kind of take away from the situation is that Núñez is a work in progress. Liverpool changed system. That was it's a work in progress. That was representing in a lot of players' performances last season. Fabinho's, Van Dijk's, Trent's, Núñez was one of them as well. There was notable drop-offs in performances, and that's where you have to come down to an element of trust in the process. But also, I'm a bit mixed on him, bro. I'm a bit mixed on him. I don't know if it's to say I'm kind of just trusting that Jurgen Klopp, if there's any man that can get the best.
From what I've heard, it's Jurgen Klopp that chose him to come to Liverpool. It wasn't
exactly, and I have to trust that. But I've been slightly surprised. I get really frustrated with him.
Since last season, has he improved? Do you think? Like, you saw him in pre-season. Has anything improved in your eyes, Darwin Núñez? See, it's tough. It's tough,
bro. It's tough because I think he got like 4 goals in his pre-season game, and we're thinking in one of his first games, we're thinking, right, he's going to cook this season. So we've seen the best of him, but we've also seen the worst of him. He's kind of not really stagnated, but nor has he kind of took off either. He's just kind of cruising.
Yeah. In my opinion, the way he went off the other day, he needs to improve as a player. If he wants to start, in the team.
Mate, I liked what I seen from him when he came out against Chelsea. I can't lie. He brought that about him, that injection. But we need to see more of that. And to be fair, we can't, be too critical of him when he's only coming on for that amount of time. Do you know what I mean?
He started professional football late as well. People don't know that he started professional football late, so that's why he's improving as a player. He's not actually already there. When you're a kid, if you start from an early age, technically and everything comes together. But when you're starting in a later age, it takes time, and that's how I see it when I watch him. Justin says, side note, I must say I was impressed by Solanke this time. He's developing well, and in a few years I can see him becoming what we initially saw him in him. If he was at Chelsea and Liverpool, he must be there for a reason, Justin, if you know what I mean. 72 people watching. Please hit that subscription button, notification button, like button on the way to 2,000. And please subscribe to all the other channels as well. Liverpool channels, that is. With Solanke, you can see why he's at Liverpool and why he was at Chelsea. You know what I mean? He must be a good player as a youth for him to be there as well. So, yes, he is developing well. This is his level for now. The next step for him is, can I get further than that? So, good luck to him, man. Good luck to him. Sad says, all are welcome to Anfield with the best performance from them. Oh, it's probably speaking to someone else. Let me check. There we go, another one. BB says, hopefully Núñez should improve on his what I said. How do you say that? Maturity. Maturity in regards to the way he behaved when he was coming off the pitch the other day. That's what they're talking about, Alid. He threw a tantrum and just walked off the pitch.
Did he?
Yeah. Because he came in the last 5 minutes, then he just lost the plot and walked off. He said, he definitely needs to work on that. He shouldn't do things like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah. Bertrand says Tierney was on VAR. Yeah, he was. Unfortunately, mate, he's never going to change. You know what I mean? He's always going to be in Liverpool games, and he's always going to be controversial when he's the actual referee or VAR. Alid, we're done, bro. We've made it to 1 hour. Please, Alid, thank you for coming on as always, man. You're part of the channel now, so we've recruited you well. so where can people find it other than LFC, of course? Where can people find it, bro?
No, I appreciate that, man. Thank you, guys, and obviously big thank you to the chat as well. Some brilliant comments coming in. Justin, Laser, Trudon as well, and many, many more. Cedric, John, yeah, you all at it in the comments, and I appreciate each and every one of you. But guys, make sure first and foremost you're subscribing to Fozzy, LFC Red Forever. You know where to find us. I think he's on 9 o'clock again tonight. So
no. It's been changed because the team ain't gonna be ready for tonight, so it's gonna be tomorrow. I'm off anyway. I'll be back 2:30 tomorrow again, as always.
There people.
We go. The regular slot is here. We might see something along the way, but go on, Alex. Carry on, brother.
Hey, bro, just make sure, guys, you keep those notification bells on, so you'll be notified every time we're going live. In regards to where you can see a bit more of me, Crop Talk TV, so you can see the handle there. Crop Talk TV. I am somewhere up in the comments, so you can always go and check out the channel there. But if not, have a good day, and yeah, just appreciate the invite, Fozzy, and it was a great stream.
Thank you, brother. Thank you to everyone. If you're watching this back, we're on the road to 2,000. Please go and do that for us. You know what I mean? You're not going to get any shows like this anywhere else. You know what I mean? On a regular basis. And I'm reading your comments on a regular as well. Soon we're going to do the membership. Hopefully you guys can join us in that. We could do our own streams as well. And I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this again, and I'm really, really happy back doing this this time with the good people as well as you know, the old people. So please hit that subscription button, notification button, and like button, and I'll see you tomorrow. I could be back 2 o'clock, 2:30, and I'm gonna definitely be back at 9 o'clock with the crew. We're going to discuss FSG and what's next for Liverpool Football Club, and discuss our rivals, what they bought as well. You know what I mean? Like of Arsenal, Newcastle, Man United, and Man City. So we're 5, aren't we? So those 4, we discuss what they bought, and who's going to be a threat to Man City, and who's going to be a threat in that top 4 position as well. So as you can see, people, look there, right there. 2,000. We can get there, man. We can get there soon, man. Let's drive this train. Okay, people. Enough of me. I'll see you soon. Take care.